Hi there, boys and girls. It's me again, here with some math lessons for you for this week. Today, we are just simply reviewing our four-step process. And so I'm going to walk with you through a few example problems and then show you what your assignment is to turn in this week. I brought some Cheerios along because we might be a little bit rusty here reviewing the four-step process, and so I wanted to make it as easy for you as possible. So if you'll remember last week when we met, we were doing some balanced equations with missing add-ins, and I just insisted that you use objects to help you, and I hope that it was helpful to do that. Today, I will show you an example with objects and then just our kind of traditional way where we make a model drawing. It probably is going to be kind of like riding your bike. Once you learn how to do that, you kind of always know. But have some objects ready. I have Cheerios today. You could grab goldfish or blocks or Legos or anything like that, M&M's, Skittles, whatever you have handy. So let's take a look. Number one says, Sam has 10 pencils. Mary has 6 pencils. How many fewer pencils does Mary have than Sam? Now, if you'll remember, there's some clue words here that tell us what our action is. I'll give you just a second. Did you find them? That's right. And I know, Miss Reed's friends, your process of finding the main idea and writing it is going to look slightly different than what I have my class do. Do whatever you're comfortable with. If you're more comfortable with her way, that's great. If you're comfortable with my way, it's fine. It really, all we're doing when we're finding that main idea is really just determining what it is we're trying to get to the bottom of here. We've got a problem. How are we going to solve it? Okay, so let's take a look. Sam has 10 pencils and Mary has 6. How many fewer does Mary have than Sam? And so you should have heard those clue words, fewer than. And that tells us that we are comparing. That's right. And when we compare, basically, we compare lots of things. We compare books. We compare people. Oh, look at our shoes. They're the same. Look at our phones. They're the same. How are things alike? How are they different? That's what we mean by comparing. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to draw a window pane. First, I'm using a marker because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. You're going to use a pencil, please, pretty please. All right. Let's find our main idea. And if you're in my class, this is going to all come back to you. First, we circle the question mark and then underline backwards. That just kind of ensures that when we stop at the first period we see, which is right here. Cross out how many. We don't need the words how many because it's math. Every question would begin with how many. That doesn't really help us get to the bottom of this. Fewer, definitely an important word. We're going to circle that. Pencils, yes. Does, no. Mary, M for Mary. Have, than, and then we can circle the S for Sam. So when we read all of that together, it reads like this. Fewer pencils, M, than S. Okay. So we'll write that in our first box. Fewer pencils, M, than S. And then here's our clue words, fewer than, telling us that we're comparing. Yeah. All right, now let's get to this part. First, I'm going to show you that we can just model it with our objects. Sam has 10 pencils, so we're going to show Sam's 10 pencils. Let me do this as fast as I can. Mine go off the page a little. Good. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Mary has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's Mary's 6. And we want to know how many fewer Mary has than Sam. It's already telling us Mary has fewer than Sam. How many fewer? So we would compare by giving them each a buddy. That giving them a buddy showing how they're alike. One of the ways we compare is by showing how numbers are alike. Well, they're both alike by 6. How are they different? They're different by 4. So she has 4 fewer. If she had 4 more, they would have the same, right? Okay, so let's look at that in a model drawing. Sam has 10 pencils. Who? Sam. What? Pencils. So this means Sam's pencils, and then 10. Nice, neat circles, boys and girls, because you don't want this to be a hot mess when you're trying to compare, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And Mary has 6 pencils. Mary's pencils 6. And of course, I'm labeling everything because those labels are going to help me later in step 3. Okay? And remember, when we compare, we talk about how things are alike and how they're different. How are these numbers alike? Well, we're going to give them a buddy to find out. They're alike by 6. They both have 6. How are they different? This is how they're different. Bracket and question mark, they're different by 4. Okay? How do we get to 4? We compare, we have to use a minus sign, not because we're taking away, but because the action of subtract gets us to how these numbers are different. We're finding a difference. Okay? So we have 10 pencils compared with 6 pencils leaves us with a difference of 4 pencils. And I'm putting diff instead of difference because differences are really a long word to write. And did we add or subtract to get our answer? We had to subtract. That's it. So you might find that using the objects is helpful for you, or you might just want to go straight to drawing your model drawing. Either way, this is a review for compare. Now let's move on. Take a look at number 2. Abby, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Abby has 8 markers. Emma has 7 markers. How many markers do Abby and Emma have? Just let you think about that for just a second. Okay. Awesome. All right. Abby has 8 markers. Emma has 7. How many do they have? That's a simple put together. She has some markers. She has some markers. How many markers do they have? Absolutely. So this will go by real quick. All right. So again, circle your question mark, underline backwards, stop at the period, cross out how many, and circle your important words. Markers? Yes. Do? Abby? Sure. And Emma? Sure. Have? No. All right, so super easy. Our main idea, we want to know markers, Abby, Emma. All right, Abby has 8 markers. Who? Abby. What? Markers. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Emma has 7 markers. Who? Emma. What? Markers. How many? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can just hear some of you now using your doubles plus 1 strategy to solve. Absolutely. You can think about this as 7 plus 7, which you might know is 14, plus 1 more is 15. Very good. And so we're just going to bracket and question mark to show that when we join these 2 numbers together, the sum is 15. Good. And so 8 joined with 7 gives us a sum of 15. We definitely want to label that sum. And how did we get our answer? We had to add. See, it's all coming back to you now, isn't it? Good job. All right, moving on to one more example. We are going to look here at number 3. Colin bought 11 burgers for lunch. Wow, he must have had a huge crowd of friends with him. And his friends ate 7 burgers. How many burgers are left? All right, maybe they were tiny little burgers. Here's my window pane. And let's find that main idea. Circle the question mark, underline backwards, stop at the period, cross out how many, and circle the important words. Burgers, definitely, are left. Left is just a lot of times a takeaway word. So not always, but most of the time. So think about that. And think for just a moment, because I do want you to think through this. It's making sense to you. I'm saying takeaway. There's some burgers. His friends eat some. What happens when we eat something? It goes away. That represents takeaway. Very good. All right, so our main idea. Burgers left. Colin bought 11 burgers for his friends. Who? Colin. What burgers? How many? 11. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do not forget to label. So important to help us with that number sentence in step 3. His friends ate 7. Well, we can't take these circles off the page. Whereas we could, if we were representing this with objects, we could actually remove them, take them away and show that. But we can't really do that here. So what do we do instead? That's right, we cross them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, we label everything. And we are going to bracket question mark the ones that are left. Very good. All right, so this shows us our story. There were 11, 7 went away, now there are 4. So that makes it super easy for us to write our number sentence. 11 take away 7 gives us a difference of 4. Don't forget, anytime we subtract, we're finding a difference. And we got our answer by subtracting. All right. Now, when you get ready to do your independent work this week, it's going to look like this. And there are going to be 4 problems. There will be a put together, a takeaway, and 2 compare to give you a chance to use fewer than and more than, both of those sets of clue words, plus lots of extra videos to support you in that as well. And it'll look like this. It's 2 pages. All right. Can't wait to see what you do, boys and girls. You're rocking this. I'm very proud of you. See ya.